I need to call out my Jewish friends and just remind them that right now the highest level of protection is not the Jews protecting the Christians, it's the Christians are actually protecting the Jews. And they have to accept some of the historical link events that makes this conversation an ongoing conversation. There have to be an ongoing, that you have to welcome progress because there was a time where the relationship was very hostile. That's not the case anymore, not between Christians and Jews. Mm-hmm. You know, at best, I will tell you, you're seeing the relationships getting closer, and as a worst case scenario, it's just us saying, listen, your covenant, it doesn't hold the same value because we believe that through Christ, there is a new covenant. That's the biggest point of disagreement. We shouldn't be going to war based on that, and we need to work a little closer. What we have going on at this very moment goes back to, I mean, this is not something new. There is in the Holocaust, they use a poem that actually has more to do with socialism than has to do with the Jews, but then it was written by another person. And the poem starts, you know, they always came for the socialists, but I wasn't a socialist, so I didn't care, right? Mm-hmm. And that was eventually rewritten to say they always come for the Jews first. There really is no explanation whatsoever, clear explanation, except for these connections that you can find across time to be able to say they do always come for the Jews first. These are people that have been suffering longer than anybody else. They have been enslaved longer than any other group. And that until today, there is a real negative opinion about what's taking place. And a lot of this, it really goes back to many years ago. What is the solution? I have no idea, guys. I think that it's important to start acknowledging these things, you know what I mean, as another component, because there's, like I say, 21, 25 biblical references that says that the Jews wanted or have something to do mm-hmm. with killing Christ, right? Mm-hmm. So you see how easy it is to go one way or the other, for or against the argument, but that's essentially what we're dealing today, you know, trying to understand how to carry this argument.
Yeah, the only thing that I will say connected to this is I feel like this is one of those things where, unfortunately, there is not going to be any solution. There's not going to be any way to fix the problem that's going on. Like you said, this is something that's been going on for thousands of years. You know, the conflict between religions, or the conflict between who's the real mm-hmm. Jews or who is the actual chosen. So I think, like I said, it's something that we're going to, as we go through time, get different perspectives on. But I don't see any end to, you know, the situation. You know, I think the players may change, all right, like who's my number one enemy or who's my friend. But unfortunately, it's one of those things where I don't see, like I said, a resolution.
But that's an important point, and I'll get back to that because I think that would be kind of like the final recommendation on that.
Yeah. Who would be the equivalent of John Paul II?
No, it has been from the, he was.
No, but it literally to the Jewish community.
It literally goes back to for the Jewish community. No.
There's no such person.
Because the more orthodox that the person actually becomes, the more that they will always come back with a statement that what he did was not enough. He visited Auschwitz, kneel down in that place, pray for. In that environment, the Pope left, you know, a crucifix in there, and they still said that not only that wasn't enough, some people even took it as an insult. You know what I mean? And so this is not an easy conversation, depending on. But what happens is soon. Here's the good news, right? Remember how earlier I was saying, once somebody has full control, things get super simplified. Mm-hmm. Because like you were saying, all these kids are misbehaving just because they know they can get away with it, correct. Right? Yeah. So guess what? In this arena, it's exactly the same. You have a lot of people that are very smart people that would play around with concepts, ideas, sacred scripture, and they would play around with everything to make an argument about as to why it have to work like that. But it is getting to the point where some choices have to be made. Christians do have to find, at this point, it almost appears to be impossible, especially when Christianity is more and more becoming a business.